Hey everyone, Omen13 here, and it's time for another story from the r/stories subreddit. Let's begin. I got fired today for sending an email to everyone in the company. It was totally worth it. I got fired today. I regret nothing. I volunteer with a little organization that's not technically a non-profit, but it's a non-profit. I've been there about a year doing menial grunt labor, trimming trees and hauling away heavy things from place to place. It's been fun, in a surreal way. See, I founded a company when I was 18 years old and held the same job for 25 years. It grew from nothing into a substantial company and then crashed and burned about a year and a half ago. We had a staff of 50 people at our peak, strung across several continents, and as the president, I was drowning in stress and debt and endless crises my whole life. That's how I grew up, and it's all I'd ever known. From balls to bones, I was the boss. My entire life was defined by my work. I started at 8 o'clock and rocked out till late, usually 6, sometimes 7 days a week. I typically finished work at 11 on most nights, and for the last several years kept an apartment at my company. I would often go weeks without leaving work, and lived there full time. The closest I had ever come to a vacation was on a weekend trip to bury my grandmother. That's it. And then, in the blink of an eye, it was gone. The company imploded. We were negative about $20,000 a month at that point, and overnight, my world got incredibly quiet. We went out of business and I lost everything I was, everything I knew, and everything that defined me. It was my job. 6 months later, I happened upon a volunteer position. I filled out an application and was hired on the spot. I didn't mention any of my previous work experiences because I didn't want to use any of it. I didn't want to be in administration or management. I wanted someone to hand me a fucking shovel. And they did. I spent my Saturdays moving heavy things, trimming trees, and directing traffic. I cleaned out an old storage room, got 100 splinters, and spent a lot of time covered in grease. It was glorious. Nobody called me sir or boss, nobody knew my history, and nobody gave a shit. I was nothing. I was inconsequential. I had no power, authority, or responsibility. I was bottom shelf, blue-collared, and I cannot begin to express the freedom that brings. No stress, no decisions, nothing. Just move this shit from here to here. Yes, sir! They looked at me funny for being so eager to do the shit work that nobody else wanted to help with. You see, perspective is everything. When you're on top, there's a long way to fall, and you spend your entire life trying to balance on the sharp, pointed tip while everyone throws rocks at your head. When you're at the bottom, though, there's nothing to see but up. Most people were welcoming and kind. The rest just didn't acknowledge my existence. And that was fine. That is, all except one person. An old crone that worked in the office. It wasn't that she didn't like me. I'm pretty sure she doesn't like anyone. This was the kind of woman that slams her tit in a car door on her way to work just so she can be in the right mindset to deal with the public. She's got a powerful hate in her from somewhere, and I just caught the heat off of it whenever I tried to deal with her. Thankfully, that was rare. I made it a point to avoid her, and given my position, that was trivial to do. But I had made friends with my manager. He's a shining island of reality in the ocean of bullshit petty politics that was middle management of that organization. It's a classic problem. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. He suffered a lot of bullshit to try and hold that place together. And I had a soft spot for him, because I could empathize with it all too well. I knew his life. It was mine, 20 years ago. I knew what he was facing more than he did. I saw the paths of a dozen crises play out in my head every day, often before he even noticed they were a problem. That woman was a flaming thorn in his side, and she relished it. I watched her scream at him non-stop for nearly half an hour once, and I still don't know what exactly she was pissed about. She carried an anger in her soul that could match the devil's own, and she made sport of tormenting him whenever she could. I was lucky. I had the luxury of being able just to walk away and ignore her for the most part. He was stuck with her, and suffered far more of her bullshit than I could ever have the patience to withstand. This had gone on for as long as they'd known each other. The stories I'd collected about her from everyone who worked there made her into the stuff of legend. She was, and is, a Class A raging bitch with a side of maîtredom and a twist of self-pity. She's one of those horrible people that end up in middle management who demands to have all the authority and yet carry none of the responsibility. Nothing was ever her fault. I fired better people than her. Their war raged quietly just on the edge of my world, and I just let it roll. I didn't really pay her any mind at all until this morning. There's one particular email list for the company that includes everyone, volunteers to management, to the fucking board of directors. It's for updates on large projects and events, emergencies, and holidays. Nothing interesting ever happens on there. Until today. I woke up, checked my phone, and saw her email titled, "My Resignation." Hi everyone. To begin with, this is Old Crone. I'm writing this to inform everyone that as of Tuesday, May 12th, I am dropping off everything that I have off at the office. That will include my shirts, phone and charger, and all the keys I have for the company. It would be Monday, but Old Crone's husband is having surgery in Big City then. I wanted to thank all of you for the hard work that you do because God knows you don't hear a thank you enough. I have come to the conclusion that I can't work where I'm not respected. I know that I have health issues, and I also know that this is something that I have to live with. I'm having surgery in June for my right knee, and I never thought that I would have someone telling me what I can and can't do when it comes to my job for the company. I guess when someone wants my job bad enough, they really will do anything to get it. So I'm going to be pulling the knives out of my back and clean the wounds so they are healed before my surgery. So just to make sure all of you have this, I am no longer working at the company as of Tuesday. So thank you all again for the respect that you have shown me, or most of you. I got out of bed, took a long shower, had a magnificent shave, and sat down to breakfast. I knew the moment I started typing that I'd be fired before the day was out. I also knew it would be everything everyone else would want to say. So I did it. I wrote this. My dearest Crone, it is with heart-wrenching grief that I awaken this morning to find your resignation in my mail. While we never know what the future holds, I do sincerely wish you all the best in whichever future volunteer opportunity awaits you, perhaps as a village in need of a new witch. I know I'm new around here, and it's only been a year, but I wanted to personally thank you for the warmth and kindness you've shared with me to make a new volunteer like myself feel so welcome and invited. You've been a shining example that will be a gold standard for generations to come when teaching newcomers about how to interact with other staff. I would like to personally thank you for having brought so many smiles to my experience at the company. As someone who spent decades in leadership and management, every time I saw the hand-wringing and rolling eyes of your superiors, I felt my heart warm and smiled, thankful not to have their task. You really did brighten my day, and I'm so thankful for that. I know the company has its troubles. Every company does. But the success in any endeavor is the foundation of a solid and cohesive team. I've had the considerable honor to work with a dozen great people here over the past year and a half, and also you. The great thing about people is that every single one of them you'll ever meet has something to offer, something to teach. Some people exist as an inspiration to others, a beacon, a hero to look up to. Some people exist as an example, a cautionary tale told to those that follow. I'll never know what I did to garner such warmth and love from you, and that's okay, because I'm pretty certain it happened a long time ago, perhaps when someone dropped a house on your sister. But please know that your resignation won't go unnoticed, and that you did in fact bring value and joy to even this small organization. I know for a fact that many people smiled, laughed, and cheered in reading it. The child's self-pity and martyrdom that only you could bring will not soon be forgotten. Thank you for all that you've done for so many for so long. Your passing will leave a scar on this organization that will certainly take days to heal. I wish you everything that you deserve. OP, the lowest tier volunteer with nothing to lose. That email went out to every person in the company. I was fired within hours. I regret nothing. Worth it. I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you did, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd like to thank everyone who posted their stories to the subreddit. You can visit them at the links in the description below. If you missed the last video, you have to go check it out. Links are also in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.